pros and cons to the Baylor versus Oklahoma State football game. I'm going to start with the cons just to get all those negatives out of the way. Well, first of all, the offense had 112 rushing yards on 30 attempts, but most of those came from one guy, I know, but I'm just saying. 3 for 11 on third down offensively. The offense had at least 4 drops or a little bit more in the game, which 3 of those were by Gavin Holmes. One of those drops turned into an interception. So, speaking of which, Blake Shapen threw 2 interceptions, which one of them was a drop by Gavin Holmes, while the other one he forced it because they were trying to rally back late. The offense allowed a safety in the game. After hearing the press conference, they tried to do that play because it worked in practice, but Oklahoma State covered it up pretty good. And maybe next time they're that close to the goal line, like at the 2, run the ball straight north and south instead of east and west. And they also allowed 7 tackles for loss in the game. Defensively, it was a letdown on the run defense. 166 rushing yards on 46 attempts, which 75 of those yards came from Spencer Sanders on 14 rushing attempts with 1 touchdown. They did a much better job in the second half on him, but the first half, he was going nuts. It's just they just couldn't stop him in the first half a little bit. The defense allowed Dominic Richardson 73 rushing yards on 24 attempts, including a touchdown, so basically, most of those yards came from 2 guys. The quarterback, you got to do a better job in the future against scrambling quarterbacks. You got to. The defense allowed Brandon Presley 8 receptions for 86 yards. Of course, there's a few other guys on chunk, but I will also say the Baylor defense allowed some chunk plays during the game in the secondary, both a little bit in the running game at times, a little bit, not a ton, but in the passing game especially. They're going to have to work on their fundamentals, which this is why they have the bye week. The defense didn't get a fumble recovery despite forcing 2 fumbles in the game. The second one, if they would have been at least 2 yards away from it, they would have recovered the ball. The defense was 6 for 15 on third down and 1 for 1 on fourth down. The third down defense has to improve going forward. It's because they didn't win on first down defensively and second down as well. The special teams coverage today in that game, man, it was questionable. They even allowed a kickoff return touchdown in the second half, beginning of it, and when Oklahoma State went up 23-3, it's pretty much a catch-up game from there. But gotta give credit, they fought back. It's just they were down too much to overcome. They barely lost time possession, 30 minutes 46 seconds to 29 minutes 14 seconds. They started the first half offensively a little too slow. A little bit. And the defense did finish the first half badly. Once again, with a touchdown by Oklahoma State's offense. That has to change because that happened against Texas State, BYU, Iowa State even. So, and now this game. They're going to have to clean that up in the last 2 minutes of the first half. They got to clean that up going forward. They even allowed, after Baylor got within 1 possession of the game, they allowed a 50-yard return. And then 2 plays later, Oklahoma State scored a touchdown. That has to change. That has to. Now, here are the pros. The offense had 457 yards overall in the game. Blake Shapen had 28 completions out of 40 attempts for 345 yards with 2 touchdowns, besides those 2 picks. Richard Reese had 7 rushing attempts for 85 yards, including a touchdown, which the long was 24 yards and the average was 5 yards. There were 9 guys who caught a pass in the game, which shows how spread the ball around. Monterey Baldwin had 7 receptions for 174 yards with 2 touchdowns. He's back to 400% healthy. So I think he could be one of the go-to guys on the team now. He's proven it in a game that he can take over. This is huge going forward. The offense only allowed 2 sacks in a game against a good pass rush, 1 pass breakup, and 3 quarterback hurries. The offense scored off of an interception from the defense. The offense made a 2-point conversion. The offense was 3 for 5 on 4th down. The defense only allowed 213 passing yards in the game, which is not bad. It's just the chunk plays need to be better. The defense had 7 tackles for loss and 3 pass breakups. The defense forced 2 fumbles. Christian Morgan had an interception in the game, and John Mayers made a 34-yard field goal and 2 extra points. Isaac Power had 2 punts for 94 yards, which long was 49 yards, and of course 2 penalties in the game for 10 yards, which is pretty good. So they just started up the first half a little bit too slow. Did not have enough energy on offense. And they were down 16-3 at halftime. And there's another positive in the game. Sure, that Siaki Ika had a cramp, but he came back in. So that's huge because we need help. And in addition, there was a surprise yesterday. Cole Maxwell played in the game. I didn't expect him back. So now we're back to 100% on the defensive line. Now, the offense does need 2 more guys coming back. And which are Tate McWilliams, the starting running back at the beginning of this year. He's the one that dives forward to get yards and more powerful. So him, Richard Reese, and Squirrel Williams, those 3, and Quaylen Jones, that's a solid running back core. I will also say they also need a projected right tackle back, Khalil Keith. I'm not sure he's going to be back after the bye week. I would hope he's going to be back for the game against West Virginia, but we'll have to wait and see. And same good thing goes for Tate McWilliams. So there's still some positives in the game, and I know this is our second loss, and forget the college football playoff at this point. And you know what? It's hard to make it anyway, even with 1 loss. And we gotta go back and do what we need to do in the bye week and prepare for West Virginia. We gotta work on our fundamentals. You gotta work on kick return coverage. You gotta get on kickoffs, kick the ball to the end zone, and don't let them return it or even past the end zone. I don't know why that didn't happen in this game. I don't even know. So I honestly think they need to work on that for sure. And get a little and mature enough and get more grounded in confidence all around. And we're just young at the wide receiver position. And the good news is, it looks like Oklahoma is not as good as I thought they were. That still is a tough road environment, I get it. But they're 0-2 in the conference now. And the thing is, the Big 12 is so hard this year anyway, because I think every team in the Big 12 is going to have at least 2 losses in a conference. Sure, Kansas State might be undefeated right now. TCU is undefeated. Oklahoma State even. As well as Kansas out of nowhere. They're not going to go undefeated or 1 loss. I think everyone's going to get 2 losses. Maybe even 3 to make the Big 12 title game. So let's go for the next best thing and go back to the Big 12 title game. It's okay. You don't need to panic. And as you could tell, it was not just the offense had issues that cost the game. It was all around. Not just one particular area, but all areas of the game. There were some issues. And yet there's some positives. So you got to take that moving forward and execute a lot better on plays and on those plays that didn't work on fourth down earlier in the game. It was just lack of execution. Same thing goes for the safety giving up. So, and don't say Jeff Grimes needs to be fired. No. It's not. It's not the play calling. It's the execution of the play. So, and remember, he helped us last year from 2-7 to 12-2. No need to panic. Let's just settle down. There's a lot of games left, and just move forward. I just want to go over the pros and cons from the game. If you like the content, hit the like and subscribe button. I'll see you guys later. That's going to be the 400 subscribers more by the end of this year.